Join our hosts as they check out the Stamas 326 Aegean, an outboard-powered express with room for the entire family and features for the avid fisherman. The Stamas 326 Aegean has an overall length of 32 feet 6 inches, a beam of 11 feet 2 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 700. Designed for overnight offshore excursions, she has a draft of 18 inches, a variable dead rise of 18 degrees, a dry weight of 10,200 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 300 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our host.
A trend in boating these days is to build center console fishing boats with 4 or 5 engines on them that go 70 miles an hour or more and are going to get you out there super fast and get you back super fast. And the boat that we're going to have a look at today is a boat that bucks that trend. Stamas boats have been around for 65 years and they've been building something a little bit different than the current trend dictates today, and that's a really reliable, seaworthy, dependable boat that's going to get you out there safely. The 326 Aegean that we're on is going to suit your needs. If you're the type of person that wants to go offshore and spend a night offshore on the hook, or if you want to take a long-range vacation and spend 2 or 3 days on the boat with your family, you're going to be able to do both of those things on this model. And one of the first things you're going to notice when you get behind the wheel on the 326 Aegean is that we're at an elevated helm position here. The raised helm design on this model is built for a reason. It's going to offer you a really good elevated position to see from while you're fishing offshore and while you're running offshore, quite frankly. But there's another reason why they elevate the helm and the trunk cabin in the front, and that's to create space down below, which is going to come in handy when you go on those long-range trips and spend the night on the boat. Now, a run out to Pulley Ridge or the Middle Grounds or out to the Hudson Canyon is going to be 100 miles or more to get you there. That's a long trip to go on, and the 326 Aegean's got the range to do it. She carries 300 gallons of fuel, and it's got better than a 450-mile range at cruising speed, so that's all the fuel you're going to need to go out and spend a full night and 2 days of fishing out there and get you back with fuel to spare. Now, although the Stamas has got very comfortable accommodations below, if you find yourself offshore for a couple of days, you'll likely be spending more of your time in the cockpit. Now, unlike the deck layout on a traditional walk-around center console, the cockpit is wide open and plenty of room in it, but all the fishing is going to take place right here, so you're going to need all of the features necessary to get you through a day of fishing or a night of fishing, all within arm's reach right in here too, and the 326 Aegean certainly has that covered. The 326 Aegean has got a really nice, tight, centrally located little tackle center here that's got a place for you to rig a bait, it's got a freshwater sink, you know, a place for you to put your knives and stuff, but more importantly, we've got some tackle storage trays here and then 3 nice-sized drawers underneath to keep all of your terminal tackle and all the stuff that you're going to need just to rig the basics. Now, if you go offshore on this boat, one thing you're definitely going to need is going to be insulated fish storage, and this boat's got you covered. Under this seat, there's a 57-quart box, and over here you've got a 71-quart box as well that's insulated. Now, there's a larger box back here in the transom. Now, this is going to be your main fish box if you're offshore. It's 147 quarts. It's a nice location for if you're fishing out of the back of the boat to put fish right in there, and we've also got a live well behind me in the port side corner. Now, in the middle of the deck, there's a really large compartment that's not insulated, but it's absolutely going to come in handy. And this compartment is so big, you could put a really big insulated bag in it full of ice and use that as a satellite location to hold ice that you could replenish your boxes with. Now, if you're not fishing, the box is also very useful to store a ton of gear. And as I said, it's a really big space. Another feature on the 326 that's worth mentioning is the beam on this boat. She's 11 feet 2 inches wide. You've got tons of room to spread out with the beam. I mean, this is a large cockpit, and it's hard. I have to keep reminding myself that this is a 32.5-foot boat. Now, it's not all going to be about going offshore and doing marathon runs to the canyons with the guys. On the 326 Aegean, if you're a family boater, and imagine yourself being a mom and dad with a couple of kids, this is a great platform to go away and spend a few days on the boat and make an outing of it. The bunk I'm sitting on is a V-berth that's going to be big enough for mom and dad to sleep on and stretch out. And it also converts into a dining table. Lift this cushion out, you can raise this table and sit here and eat, or you can take the table out and just turn it into seating if you like as well. Now, for the kids, there's going to be another area where they're going to be able to sleep too. Let's have a look over here. Now, before I sit down here, let me point out another element of this design that's really practical is adding over 6 feet of headroom into the cabin is a result of having that bubble on the top of the bow there. It's also noticeable right here underneath the helm area. That's how we've created the space in this aft cabin. You put your kids down in here to sleep, and they've got room for 2 kids. I mean, obviously not 2 teenagers, but 2 little kids can fit in here, and mom and dad up there. And this is a result of raising that helm area. It's giving you enough headroom to put the space in here to include this berth. Now, you're also going to need other amenities, and that would include somewhere to cook and the bathroom on the boat. And there's a head that's completely private on this model, and all the amenities you're going to need to make a meal and spend some time on the boat. This is a full galley with a 2-burner electric stove, a microwave, and a refrigerator too. So you can't cook Thanksgiving dinner down here, but you can make a really nice meal here, and you've got space to spread out and eat it. Now, another thing, if you've got the women on the boat too, they're really going to appreciate the value of an enclosed head, a fully private head with a stand-up shower, enough headroom to get in there. So these are the kind of things that are going to make a long trip on a boat much more enjoyable at the end of the day. Now, one thing to point out about the 326 Aegean is the experience that you're going to feel on this boat is that of one that you'd find on a 36 to 38 foot diesel inboard boat. It just feels like a bigger boat. It rides like a bigger boat. Combine all those things with the features that you're going to need, and put on top of that the rugged durability that Stamas is bringing us for so many years. There's no way that a family that likes to fish offshore and take trips away from their home port for a couple of days should ever overlook the 326 Aegean.